Hello all, welcome again. So today we will discuss about the landscape in architecture. So when we design our surroundings, we use this terms landscape and we design our lands with plants, trees and water feature with uh, many feature which is outside the building. So that all is called the landscape, and by those elements like your uh, hard material and your soft material make a good landscape is hardscape and softscape. So in hardscape we talk about the stone and hard things like tiles, pavers, and in softscape we generally use trees, plants and shrubs. And by these components, we compose this landscape in a aesthetic manner around our building. So, in a residential project, landscape is your lawn, your front of your house, your kitchen garden or back of your house, and your terrace garden. That is the part of landscape. But in a city level, your parks, your central parks in your city, your your open spaces around your sector, around your locality, that is the part of landscape. And also the uh, your edges and boundaries of your roads, your uh, overall looks of your cities, including the roundabouts and uh, design of your pavements around your along with your roads, that is a landscape. So as you can see, this is the famous Central Park, Hyde Park in London. And this is a very big park, and this type of park is two and three more parks is there. So the building is around this Central Park, and this is a nice example for the landscape, how the hard material in form of building and concrete is surrounded by the uh, plants and trees and water feature and dirt, your soil, your uh, ground feature. So this is the perfect example for landscape design, how city is designed for uh, getting the maximum oxygen from the trees and getting a good environment around your building. So landscape is important while we do our city planning or our uh, local planning for our residential areas. Now in second peaks, landscape is not only about the trees and open space. Landscape is also in landscape includes water feature like ponds, lakes, and people sitting around this water feature. The steps, how the sitting place is designed, how the pavers is there, how trees is into design, how buildings is looking into that scene, how you design the surroundings with water, land, and trees. That is the perfect landscape. Now, if we define the landscape, we can say like landscape architecture is the study and practice of designing environments, outdoor and indoors, of varying scale that encompasses elements of art, environment, architecture, engineering, and sociology. So, this is the perfect blend of all these disciplines: art, environment, architecture, engineering, and sociology. So, if a true landscape you want to design, you have to include the human behavior that comes in sociology, how we can connect with people, with giving the space for interaction and giving the welcoming space and inviting space around the houses, around the locality. So how we take our time to our leisure time, how we spend, how the policymaker, architects, and government provide the space for peoples in form of plaza, open space in city center uh, form. So landscape only not discipline for the plants. It it includes buildings, your social behavior, how people interact with each other, how much space is needed to breathe, and how we sit, how we take the nature in our daily life. So, landscape architects are involved in the designing of space that creates and enables life between the building. And if we talk about the basic elements which form the composition for landscape design, so it starts with line, then it converts with form, then color, and then texture. So line can be horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and curved. Forms are associated with three-dimensional objects. Color tends to be the most used element of landscape design composition. So these elements form the landscape design, and by using your artistic ability, your love for designing, sketching, you can form your design for lands, how you give the pavements, how you give your greenery in a particular rhythm, pattern, and in a composition. So that's a landscape design. And if we take an example of Chandigarh city, it is a planned city. So basically, Chandigarh is having the true landscape design in its core architectural practice or theory. So uh, if the planner decided to do the Chandigarh city in a manner of designing it in a scratch, they preserve some form of land and open spaces there. So the Chandigarh is having maximum number of green belts, and the parks and open spaces in every sector, in every locality is the example of perfect landscape design in a city plan. And landscape is also the nowadays there is rule per person or per square feet area of your city, there will be certain amount of open land in your residential area. So cities need to be uh, care about the open spaces for children and old age and for all other age group for their um practice for their playing spirits and their social interactions. So these parks help to bond people each other, and they can feel healthy after their routine to visit that landscape part to feel the air and space and time. So when we talk about the city planning level, so material of the city plannings are sky, space, trees, steel, and cement in that order and in that hierarchy. So landscapes, city planning level, we talk about sky, space, trees, steel, and cement. Steel and cement here is building. So building, trees, sky, and space makes a true landscape and true cityscape in planning. So we can now define like city is the highest expression of man's own self-acquired power of organization and control over his environment, and every essence of urban appearance lies in the fact. So a city is known as a civilization, and a city is the uh, uh, print blueprint of human behavior, which type of people are residing in particular city. So generally city represent the uh, peoples and person, their personality, their attitude, their work environment. So for that we should keep our city clean, and we should follow some norms for our environment, and that we can do to provide a good landscape design with the help of landscape architects. And landscape is the things we don't require any such consultant. We can do it starting from our own houses. It goes to the city level, street level, to the district level, to the city level. So policymakers and governments can play the important role, but it's people, if they have the attitude for saving the nature and environment. So this is the Google image of Chandigarh. We can see the green belts going, and how beautifully the place is designed here. And uh, every sector is having parks we have discussed. So basically, Le Corbusier thought about these strips of green belt is the lungs for the cities. And first, Chandigarh is concept comes by a plan form of a tree leaves, and Albert Mayer first proposed this tree leaves concept, and how beautifully we are inspired by the environment itself. So, and these are some pics which is about the landscape design, including all elements, and how we form the gardens. Garden is also a different topics in landscape design. So how beautiful these landscape trees and foliage is coming with their true color, and how the these roundabouts, this landscape pocket, which is also maintaining the traffic, self-regulated traffic in olden days in Chandigarh. Nowadays there are lights in every junction. So uh, the population is high now there. So you can see the trees all around. So if we discuss about the elements of landscape, those are natural and man-made. Natural, we can say plants, vegetation, water, earth form, land form, timber, and stone. So man-made is brick, metal, plastic, and glass. So man-made is generally which is artificial and we make them. So, principles of landscape design, we will quickly see the slides. So, six basic principles of landscape design is unity, balance, simplicity, proportion, sequence, and variety. So, your landscape design should be simple, and it should attract the people, and it should not be complex. And while we see any landscape feature, we should not get any tension. We just feel relaxed, and that we can do when we provide the simple layout. So variety should be there, like shape, size, and form selection should be diverse in order to create visual interest. Balance should be there. Everything that is placed in a design will carry a certain visual weight. So balance should be there. Heavy thing is should be balanced by some uh, proportionate things. Then emphasis, we will discuss how we should give the emphasis to any object in landscape features, so that that can become a focal point. And now sequence. So sequence should be there in order. If plantation is there, we should provide sequence, and if any pattern is there, that should have a sequence also. Scale and proportion should be there, and unity of material, uh, not so much contrasting material. We can use a good color scheme, and the natural color scheme with green, and how the flower will blossom, their color should be in a proper manner, which which can be appealing when they grow. Now we have discussed emphasis. So emphasis is dominance and subordinance of element. How a particular object can dominate the other things and parts. So emphasis is achieved with the tree being dominant and the shrub grouping being subordinate. So here this tree is a emphasis point, and these shrubs are the subordinate things. So the trees become here the emphasis. So you can see this how this city view from a bird eye view is seen here. This roundabout, this is called Matka Chowk here. This is the roundabout in Chandigarh, nearby Sector 17. This is Taj Hotel there, and how beautiful the road is designed. How landscape is following the this street. How tree is planted, and everywhere there is greenery. So does with the street lamps and trees, their color. Also the this beautiful place, a mall there. How landscape is designed, how the in form of composition, lines composition, how the lines is going, how the pattern is created by the architects. So this landscape design, a beautiful landscape design, all the elements, water feature, your pavers, tiles, greenery. So basically the purpose is we have to do for our motherland. So, and we know the global warming is nowadays on high, and a single tree with large structure and thick foliage can produce 4.8 ton of oxygen per day, and it consumes 6 ton of CO2 per day. So we should plant trees everywhere, any place we find. So help the earth by the way of landscape, and we should have some uh, this type of ideas for trees and surroundings, so we can serve our purpose to our place. Thank you.